That's Mishka. Mishka was up for us just a second to say hello. Does Mishka want to take a quick minute to say hello so we can get all the dog love? It's the only thing that really makes people go on the internet anymore, right? Is the idea that you'll see a cute little puppy. That's Mishka and Tim Hashko and Don Sawyer. Tim and Don are this dynamic team of filmmakers who are very remarkable for their talent, but also remarkable for their subject matter. Because let's just face it, they're on a whole pile of people running around trying to tell the story of the marginalized and the forgotten, especially people that maybe aren't forgotten by accident. Maybe it's just a lot easier on people to just forget that there's this class of Americans, people all around the world, but definitely Americans, that just can't make it even for the barest of necessities to include a roof over their head. So welcome to the webcast. I appreciate you guys taking the time.
It's our pleasure. We are happy to be here.
So Don, when I first met you, I had just seen your film Under the Bridge, the first incarnation of Under the Bridge. Mm-hmm. And I had never seen, and you know, I like to think I've seen everything, but I had never seen a film that balled up its fist and punched reality of homelessness in the face the way that film did. And I had to meet you because I was like, this is just incredible. And that was eons ago. And since then, you've just rolled that over into more and more films about the people that are spoken of, people that live under the bridge and in other places. Where did you get this sort of fire in your belly for that sort of a film?
Well, it's when I was 9 years old, I lived in Kenya, Africa, and I saw poverty for real. I saw very skinny kids my age, but with big bellies because they didn't have anything to eat. And I originally thought it was because they ate too much, and my mother corrected me. So at that point, my little 9-year-old mind said, that's not right. I haven't had a hungry day in my life. So poverty has never been invisible to me, and I've never been good with being good myself and others, suffering like that. So I ended up doing this.
Right. And then before that, you were a musician. So you used some of your own music in that film, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. That was
over the time, you all good filmmakers need great production crews. And I'm going to just make a shout out to Max, who has been producing all these videos tonight and working way too harder than any person should have to work for free. But you hooked up with Tim, and Tim, you just can do beautiful things with a camera, even ones that fly overhead in a drone. So why would you take all that talent and hook it up with this gentleman who says, I never had a hungry day in my life, so I'm going to tell that story constantly?
Well, I think that goes back to I was born and raised in the USSR, in the Soviet Union. I was 10 when it fell apart, and then it was the independent Belarus. And, we grew up in what you guys in America refer to as Great Depression. That was kind of like my childhood, extreme poverty. So, I come to the land of opportunities, this richest country on earth that I hear about. And then, through the course of hanging out, being downtown, whatnot, hanging out with people, I see that there's this class of people in this richest country on earth, completely destitute, completely unattended, completely forgotten and invisible. And they just felt, at the time I didn't really know what to do about it, just like everybody else. What can you do? Just walk by, look at them, or give them a little bit of money, whatever. But you don't really know what to do. And so then when I met Don, and he was already working on that, Under the Bridge at the time, I was like, well, that makes sense. I have this, this skill, this talent that I can translate into something good. And at the time I was becoming a United States citizen. So I thought, well, maybe my first project would be a great contribution to this country. And it just felt like a right fit. That's my story.
It's interesting that you both have such global perspectives that you brought to this teeny tiny sort of unseen problem by so many in the United States. When you talk to people, and we posted your video asking people, did you know that it costs so much more to have a person stay on the street than it does for them just to have a home? So when you talk to people who aren't looking away on purpose, they're not being mean bad guys, but they're not seeing what you guys see. What do you think the difference is, and how do you bridge that gap?
Well, the thing that's missing in homeless advocacy, I mean, grassroots homeless advocates realize this is a human and civil rights issue, but most grassroots advocates don't take it to the next step in terms of getting results. We've always viewed it as a human and civil rights issue, and those issues move forward with the public outcry, right? And before the public can outcry, they got to know what the deal is. There is, I believe, a intentional effort by a certain group in this country that wants to keep the public ignorant about homelessness, because no matter what the issue is, a homeless community is used as a pawn, and just to move around and get out of the way of the real agenda that they want. They're allowed to do it because the public is asleep on the issue. If the public knew that there were solutions to homelessness, that there's evidence-based solutions to homelessness, and that those evidence-based solutions cost less, the taxpayer less, that it's a win for everybody. They get off the street so you don't have to walk over them, but they're being helped, which is the main thing. Most people, given the choice, would choose to help people in a bad situation. If the public were aware of that, that would be a problem for a lot of people with other agendas other than helping people who are homeless. So I don't blame the public for not knowing. It's been intentional since the Reagan days. When Reagan got rid of the social programs and homelessness began, they started giving this messaging that they just want to be out there. It's not our fault for cutting the social programs. They just want to be out there, and they blame, and that messaging still happens today, and nobody has taken the time to correct that messaging. And that's kind of our mission, is to correct that messaging and inform the public.
So you accept the responsibility, say, to open the eyes of individuals, and you make fabulous films. You don't make, you can pull out your phone and make incredible video. I've seen you do it. But you use real production quality, real filmmaking equipment. You get out there, you treat people with dignity, you light them properly, you mic them properly. It's a real top-notch production, attention to these people's lives that is far and above what the average person gets at any time. They never get that sort of attention and an ability to voice their story, right? No matter what their story is. And you tell that story, and you do it in such a beautiful way that is extremely expensive. You don't hackney it out. So how do you keep working when you're trying to produce, Hollywood quality movies about people that there is a group of people in the country with the agenda to silence and marginalize? How do you get from point A to point B on that?
Well, you can take that one. How do we do that, Don?
I mean, I think if we took a moment to look at it, we kind of would say this is insane, but we kind of find a way. We find a way to get the financing when we need it. We really have to be twice as good as your average person to get the attention of anybody to give us money, and so we continuously work on our craft. We're continuously pushing to be better and better. I mean, we want our films to be as good as Oscar-worthy films, and so we have that drive. And as far as the care and attention we give to our subjects, it's like homeless folks are far more interesting than us. They they just a lot of it's riveting. A lot of their stories and what they've been through, and the fact that they're still standing. Like, for example, in our film Under the Bridge, when they actually closed the camp, I was despondent. I just wanted to go home. Another person in the film crew went behind a truck and just started crying. And if it weren't for this one member of the film crew that said, "What are you guys doing? Get up, we have to get this," we would have never seen that last scene in Under the Bridge and watched all that, which is the biggest impact of the film. And so, we were the wind was out of ourselves, but we went back down there after, a couple of days later, and we just drove there, and then out of the bushes came a guy that we had made friends with and just waved at us down the street, and he ran all the way up to us, and he was just talking about where he is now and stuff like this. And we thought, if they're strong enough to endure that kind of trauma and still keep it moving, what right do we have to like feel sorry for ourselves? So
Right.
so it's that type of drive that keeps us going. It's really kind of a passion project, I guess.
Well, I think it is. I think it is. I remember one time you and I were down at a camp that was by tracks or a river or something, and we met this one woman who was working at the fairgrounds for the Indianapolis State Fair, and she'd been working there for like 18 years.
Right. Yeah.
This was her 18th. She was ready for her 20-year pin as an employee in this marginal job that wasn't going to pay her as soon as the fair left town. And she was a cornerstone of the operation, or they wouldn't be able to function without women like her. Mm-hmm. And we asked her why she was living just exactly where she was living, why she chose this part of outside to live. And she showed us the spigot on the back of the building and said it was because she could wash up there.
Right.
And, you're right. It's the way you portray people is so beautiful, because I always say if you wanted to solve the world's problems, you'd just give them to people experiencing homelessness, because they solve monumental problems every day. Yeah. She's going to show up at work and she has to be presentable, and she's got to work with the public. And so she needs a place where she can wash her face. And she had found this place that she'd be able to do it. So that was the building she was located behind. And it matters greatly to me that you guys are doing this work, because, there's that old Bible or spiritual song where it goes, can I get a witness? And you just want to witness to what you believe. And so as a person who's worked with people experiencing homelessness for so long, I'm the witness, but I can't translate that. I try to write books, I do things like that, but you got to translate what you see, how you see these people as amazing problem solvers and tragic heroes. You have to translate that story, and that's what you guys do. And you make it so easy for a person to understand the problem without leaving their couch. Yeah. Right? Which nobody wants to go down to that railroad track where you and I were with us. It's Tim. So what's your next step? What's the next move? What do you've generously donated the viewing of a bunch of your films and your feature-length film Under the Bridge for us to show tonight overnight while we catch a few Z's here. But what's the next step? What are you guys working on?
Well, we have a film we're working on. It's called the working title is Beyond the Bridge: A Solution to Homelessness, and it's going to be a Bigger Vision Films is the company. Our mission is to kind of look at challenging social issues, homelessness being the first one we're really looking at, and then present a vision to the public at large how that problem can be solved. So we want to look at homelessness. We want to look at it from two sides. One is how can you solve homelessness for people who are currently homeless, sheltered, unsheltered, doesn't matter. And also, how can you close that faucet on top where people are coming from? So we want to examine the causes, the systems, everything that leads to people becoming homeless. And so how do you solve it from both sides? So currently that's what we're working on. Our next film, a bigger vision film, Beyond the Bridge. We are in the fundraising stage. We have a sample film for it on our website, and we've been fundraising for the last several months. And as soon as we have enough funds, we'll go shoot and then edit.
So we'll put that link on the Charles Bruce Foundation page too. Anybody who wants to help out. We'll put this interview will go up on our YouTube channel. We'll put the link there also so that people can, if they feel moved to get the story out, or if they feel moved to learn the story but don't want to get out of their comfort zone. This ain't judgment. We don't blame you if walking into a place that smells like people live there and use it as a bathroom. Well, that's because they have to. That's where they live. We don't blame you for not wanting to go there, but you guys will go there for them and bring them back the story. So if someone wants to help that, then they'll be able to make a contribution. And no contribution is too small.
No.
But if your uncle is Bill Gates, call Uncle Bill, right? Either way, we're working with you. I gotta say one thing though about this plan of yours about where they're coming from and the spigot.
Yeah.
2020, really? You want to make this movie now? You couldn't make it in 2019 before the spigot got so much bigger?
No, we want to make it now. I'll tell you why. Because COVID might be the best thing that ever happened to homeless solutions, because now, people, and I'm not judging people, but not very many people care about homelessness or homeless people, but they care if they're going to get a hot spot of a pandemic in their communities, right? So it has inspired a lot of communities to really look at solutions more than they have. So that's one thing. But the other thing is I can't even tell you how much we believe that this is a civil rights issue, and civil rights issues are moved by civil rights movements, right? And we need to connect this whole situation, like right now, people are focusing on income disparities and systemic problems that cause poverty and stuff. But traditionally, no matter what, whenever that's talked about, it never reaches all the way down to homelessness. Homelessness is its own thing. We want to connect that whole thing to homelessness so that everybody understands that this same system that they're yelling about everything else is also causing homelessness. So we think it's a perfect time. Right now is the time for us to get out there, and we don't the civil rights stuff that's going on right now, we'll piggyback on it.
Time for that energy.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I can see it. I can feel your passion. It's interesting too, because I think that homelessness is the magnifier for other civil rights crises. So the LGBTQI youth, 40% of homeless youth are LGBTQI, right? That's not what the percentage of the population is in a house, right? Far higher percentage of people of color, although there are certain ethnicities where the homelessness is masqueraded differently. But I was with a bunch of undocumented workers in California in the vineyards, and the wine company brags about the fact that it's the only industry without subsidies, until you realize that all their workers are living without houses in the middle of the woods, and they're afraid they're going to get sent back to whatever country they came from just to send some money home. They get a subsidy. It's called almost free labor, living in the woods outside the vineyard. So this is the great magnifier, this poverty to such an extreme of all these other civil rights issues. And nobody's better with a magnifying glass than you guys. I'm really excited to see your next project. We're going to run your films tonight. We're going to just plug the heck out of you so that people, if they're able to help get the story out, they're going to know where to go to do it.
Cool. Thank you.
Don, Tim, thank you so much. Keep your glow.
Are we really going to leave this family reunion without mentioning this is a family reunion? Are we really going to do that? The first thing I want to say is that congratulations on your book, and I'm going to be getting it and reading it, and congratulations for all of this, and big ups to you for doing this. This is great, and it's a lot of fun, and I hope you guys are having fun out there. I know it's hot.
A bug just flew up my nose. Other than that, it's been great.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean,
What do you want to say?
are you going to claim this guy or not?
Well,
I don't know if Tim wants me to.
I don't know if anybody out there watching knows this fact, but Pat LaMarche is my mother-in-law.
Yay!
Almost 1 year.
Yeah, I know. It's almost a whole year since the wedding. And isn't that good that didn't happen in 2020, or it probably wouldn't have happened. And, you know, I met Don. Becky was dating Tim. I met Don, and I just wanted to keep this guy. I wanted to keep Don so bad. He was just such a rock star, which you technically are really also a rock star, but he's such a rock star, and he cares so much about other people. And so I said, at the end of the interview, which I took my grandson to when he was about 9 months old, it's all family. I said, and Priscilla, the Princess of the Park, was Ronan's idea, because he said, can't you talk about homelessness and explain it in a chapter book for a kid like me? That's where it came from. And I said, would you come to my house for a spaghetti dinner? It's not really my house, it's my kid's house. And then you came, you guys met. Tim, the great, amazing filmographer, documentarian, and you, a tremendous director and host, and all the production talent you both have. And now we're family.
Yeah, and look, you're the reason that we met. You're the reason that A Bigger Vision is doing what we're doing. So you are the reason. So big up.
Well, thank you. I would have let you deny me. It would have been okay, but I'm very glad to be the glue that joins us. All right. I love you guys. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
All right. See you.
Bye-bye. Bye, Mishka.
Missing you.
I know. I miss you guys too.
So what do we do?
I think we're out.